in preventing building collapse in Nigeria. The importance of this workshop cannot be overstated. That is why we created this webinar to give to make you people aware about the importance of PMI and BCPG. Today, we will honor the presence of Mr. Ricardo, a strategic manager of PMI.
Hello, we lost you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we lost our anchor.
Go on.
Yes, I think our anchor just left. She's back now. Hello, Gotimi, can you hear us?
She's still struggling to connect. I believe so.
Oh.
Our speaker is still mute. And then
She should unmute it.
she can do so.
Sorry, my network is actually flipping here.
Okay.
Sorry about this. Sorry.
All right.
Today we honor the presence of Mr. Ricardo, a strategic manager for PMI Construction Certification in USA, and architect Dr. Bolahon Oyelaki, PMI-CP ambassador for Nigeria, as our
Okay, I think our anchor is struggling with our network.
Yes, I can see so.
Okay, I mean, let me just take it off from here so that we don't waste our time. We have our key speaker here already in the house, and I just want to welcome everybody. This is part of our monthly engagement within the KJSL, and it's good that we do a bit of a quick introduction. So kindly use the chat box. Let's know where you're connecting from. Let's know which part of Nigeria you're joining from, or if you're joining us from outside the country. What's your profession? And if you're a member of the guild, let's know. I think we can do that briefly within the next few seconds. Let's use the chat box so that we know who are in the room. Just to introduce yourself, let's know where you're connecting from. No one is sending message yet.
Yeah, there's no message yet. And
Adoni, can we know where you're connecting from? Paul, Engineer Idris, Olushio, Neka, Adu, Emmanuel, Shikoni. Let's know where you're connecting from. You can just drop a message in the chat box. Oh, excellent. From Abuja. Okay. Architect Wumi in Lagos. Thank you for joining. You can as well indicate if you're a member of the guild. Let's know if you're a BCP member in Abuja or in Lagos. It's actually good to come together as professionals to discuss something that seems to unite every one of us within the built industry. And that's basically focused on when you're talking about the prevention of building collapse. You and I can attest to the fact that it's one of the nagging problems that we face in the building and construction industry in Nigeria. And part of what we are going to be doing today is to see how, again, we can push, the efforts in looking at ways to prevent events of collapse of buildings in Nigeria. Without much ado, let me just welcome my colleague here, Ricardo, who is us the honor of coming to talk to us about PMI-CP program. I'm sure that more people are still going to join us and connect to know more about this program, what are the benefits and how we can leverage on this as a guild for us to amplify our efforts in preventing building collapse as professionals in Nigeria. But before I bring him on board, I just want to remind us important things about the guild, especially for those of us that are joining for the first time. I see people, connecting from different parts of the country. I see from Redemption City in Ogun State. I see from Kaduna. I see from Abuja, from Ibadan. Thank you so much for joining in. I know more people are still going to connect in. But very important, Building Collapse Prevention Guild is actually a non-governmental organization with the aim of preventing building collapse in Nigeria. Okay, I mean, at best, we want to reduce to rare occurrence the incident of building collapse in Nigeria and also promote sustainability in the building industry, basically production of buildings, talking in terms of long-term social and economic benefits that production of buildings can offer. And our basic objective include engagement in public awareness and campaigns, of course, promoting best practices in construction industry, and of course, cooperating with the built environment professionals, which what we're doing today is part of our efforts in enlightening and encouraging everyone to engage in best practices in the industry as experts. Of course, we are also focused on partnering with community development associations, international organizations, institutions like PMI, and of course, other professional bodies within the built industry in Nigeria. As we all know, based on the National Building Code, we have 7 professional bodies identified, even though we have more who play key roles in the industry now. But the 7 basic fundamental professional professional bodies, we have them within the industry playing different key roles. And part of what we're focusing on is partnering with these bodies. Then we also promote artisanal skill development, and this is where we create a niche for ourselves. We know that we have artisanal associations, and part of what BCPG has been doing is to organize these artisanal associations and find a way to integrate them into the industry effectively by facilitating periodic seminars, workshops like this, and of course, giving them audiences for them to upskill. So over the years, this has been our focus, and we hope even in the new year, we're going to take it to the next level. So there's so much that the Guild has been offering and we believe can also offer in the industry to ensure that we mitigate the impact of building collapse through prevention, because prevention, as we all know, is better than cure. What cure do we have for death? Let me end by giving us a serious statistics which some of us might not be aware of. One, as reported by the Nigerian Institute of Civil Engineering, and also the one that we reported recently, that's about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, by our data committee. So far this year, according to NIC, as at the end of October, about 37 buildings have collapsed in Nigeria. I don't want to give us the statistics of how many deaths this has resulted into, but you can just imagine the level of devastation, the level of ordeal that 37 incidents of building collapse would have, cost the nation in terms of the economic value, in terms of the human value, resource leveling value, So this is a serious menace, and I hope that we'll all come together, even beyond the new year, for us to see ways by which we can reposition ourselves to fight this evil within us. And without wasting more time, I would like to invite Ricardo. Our moderator earlier was trying to introduce him, but I think I will do this over again so that those of us that are just joining will be able to have a better perspective of who our speaker is. And then I will hand over to him afterwards. Okay. Introducing our speaker, Mr. Ricardo McKlmon. He is a strategic manager for the PMI Construction Professional Certification. Prior to him joining PMI, Ricardo worked for more than 20 years managing multinational projects in multiple sectors, including non-profits, multilateral development bank, financial services, and consumer packaged goods, with expertise in strategy, marketing, and public-private partnerships. Ricardo has demonstrated his ability to thrive in diverse projects and global environments. With BCPG joy and claps, you can use emoji. I would like to welcome Ricardo and hand over to him. Thank you. Ricardo, over to you.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's evening here. I'm dialing in from Dubai. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for joining. Today we will talk about the PMI-CP and its benefits global benefits, including benefits to Nigeria. I'd be happy if you can ask as many questions as possible to make it more interactive. Feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A or raise your hand, and let's make it an interactive session. I will attempt to share my screen. Just give me a thumbs up if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Okay, so we'll jump right into it. Construction represents one of the biggest industries in the world, accounting for about 13% of global GDP, and has not necessarily been the most efficient of the industries. In addition to that, we have about $70 trillion that's expected to be invested in infrastructure between now and 2035. That is coupled with the fact that at the moment, the industry faces a dire need for skilled professionals. So if you think about it, right now we have a shortage of skilled professionals, and it's expected to ramp up tremendously over the next 10, 11 years. So really, there is a massive opportunity for skilled professionals in this field between now and in the future. So I like to say that you're absolutely in the right field at the moment to take advantage of this great wave of opportunity that's coming. So the construction industry sort of represents, in our mind, three sort of pillars. The process, which has seen some improvement over the last little while with the introduction of stuff like lean construction, borrowing from the manufacturing sector, last planner system, advanced work packaging, etc., as well as the use of technology. We know quite recently about the use of 3D printing. What was that one called? Sorry. The printing of construction materials through why is it slipping me? The 3D printer, right? And unfortunately, the people side has not been given the right level of attention. So PMI partnered with some of the biggest names in construction globally, including the Lean Construction Institute and the Construction Industry Institute. And we've come up with 7 modules and 2 levels of the PMI-CP certification. I will go into that a bit later. But in the course, we have included, there is some of the material from a proprietary material from the Lean Construction Institute, as well as the Construction Industry Institute. So as you go through the course, you will recognize that a lot of what is brought to you in the program comes from our partnership with some of these partners that have some of the latest content in the field. So the evolution to date, we started this journey before 2021, but the first launch of the first 3 modules happened in November 2021. We released the next 4 modules between January and May 2022. August 2022, we had the first PMI-CP exam, a proctored exam for the modules. And in January 2024, we launched the ILT version of the PMI-CP. That is the instructor-led version that's delivered by some of our authorized training partners across the globe, including some of our partners in Africa. And in February 2024, we launched the 2-stage format where we have 4 core courses for the PMI-CP and then an additional 3 modules for the PMI-SCP, which is a Senior Construction Professional. In February 2024, we also launched the Digital Construction Professional, which is a partnership we have with Oracle. So the 4 core courses are the construction project communication, construction scope and change order management, construction interface management, and construction contract and risk management. So those are the 4 core courses that are required. And then you also are required to have 3 years of practical experience within the last 10 years in the industry. The additional 3 advanced courses are performance and materials management, technology and innovation, and execution planning. And you're awarded the PMI SCP upon completion of those 3 and the PMI CP. Here I mentioned the Digital Construction Practitioner course that was launched in partnership with Oracle. And this is a real opportunity to understand how to apply the tools, digital tools, and see how it can improve project performance and reporting. It's about 12 to 14 hours of dedicated time, and it's not included in the PMI-CP, but certainly it's one of the suite of products that we're offering as part of the construction sector. The core elements of the PMI-CP includes lean ways of working. We talked about that, including some of the approaches from the Lean Construction Institute, focusing on reliability in work, as well as reducing waste in construction. Secondly, it's really at the heart of it is a data-driven approach. And thirdly, the use of the latest technology in applying that to improving efficiency within the construction sector. The case for the PMI-CP, and we talked about, what's in it for me? What's the big benefit, right? Both for organization and individuals, the key value is enhancing project delivery, quality, and risk management in construction projects, leading to improved client satisfaction, providing a competitive advantage for you as an individual as well as the business, and contributing to overall organizational growth. But at the end of the day, it's also contributing to improved performance of our construction projects in the field. And so, your organization really embraces it a lot, is decreasing building collapse. So this is, of course, helping you to avoid collapse and problems within your construction projects. And when we talk construction, of course, we're talking about built environment. So it's everything that touches a construction element. Since its introduction in the market, we have more than 17,000 individual courses that have been consumed. South Africa, the regulatory agency in South Africa, SACP CMP, they have gone into the marketplace and analyzed all of the offerings within the construction sector for upskilling. And they have decided upon the PMI-CP as the standard for the construction industry in South Africa. And they're actually moving to Parliament to make it mandatory that any project manager working in construction must have the PMI-CP, which is a fantastic feat in itself. In Saudi Arabia, they have recognized the PMI-CP as part of the 2030 vision and are now providing a full refund for any citizen that takes the PMI-CP and passes it. And we have a number of conversations across Africa and globally with regulatory agencies, certainly to encourage adoption and recognition of the courses as part of CPDs and PDUs, at least to encourage adoption in the field. Why choose the PMI-CP? It certainly enables organizations and individuals, as I noted before, to upskill and utilize your energies in more high-value tasks. So it really provides that opportunity for you as a career growth opportunity to see where you will go in terms of your next opportunity, right? Your next career move. The great thing with the PMI-CP as well, it's globally recognized, and therefore you can take it anywhere in the world and really look at cross-border opportunity for your career growth. By equipping professionals with industry-specific skills, businesses and individuals can ensure that their projects are completed on time, within budget, and to the highest quality standard, certainly fostering a culture of continuous improvement and professional excellence within the sector. The certification also helps to build trust with clients, demonstrating that your organization, you as an individual, are committed to excellence and adherence to the industry's best practices. The certification also assists businesses to attract and retain top talent within the construction industry. The eligibility, and I touched on this a bit earlier, it's 3 years of on-the-job experience within the last 10 years in a construction project or built environment project. You also are expected to complete the 4 foundational courses that I outlined earlier. It could be taken in any order and designed to meet your schedule. So in this case, you have the self-paced version, which is about 6 to 10 hours of committed time. And also it counts towards PDUs for your PMP or any other certification or designation. The exam is about 120 questions over 230 minutes. As I indicated before, it's a proctored exam. And so you're expected to be in exam conditions, either in a classroom setting or online, as if you have experience with proctored exams where somebody's invigilating and monitoring how you're approaching the exam, including the fact that you have to be clear, you have to have the room clear and quiet and in an exam setting. The primary domains that are covered in the exam are contract management, stakeholder engagement, strategy and scope management, and project governance. You have the option also to do the exam through one of our authorized training partners in a classroom setting with an instructor. There are a couple of offerings I know across Africa, including one ATP out of Kenya that does public offerings. Right now, I know there's a cohort that's going through the PMI-CP at the moment. If you wish, we can provide that information. I'm sure there's also ATPs in Nigeria that are able to offer the PMI-CP as well. The self-paced version is 6 to 10 hours, as I noted, and the classroom setting is about 2 days per course for the instructor-led version of the course. The instructor-led version of the course is a case-based approach, and therefore could be customized depending on how it's being delivered and who it's being delivered to. Here is a testimonial from somebody who had taken the course at the very early onset. And he said within the next 5 to 10 years, he anticipates that 50% of construction professionals will hold the PMI-CP. And therefore, he expects a 50% decrease in projects that exceed their budget or timeline or fail to deliver the expected results. In essence, the more people that take the PMI-CP or this type of certification will result in a better project delivery for construction projects. Here we'll go into, excuse me, we'll go into each of the modules very, very briefly in terms of what's covered in each of the modules. I'll do this quickly. We'll share the presentation, so no need to worry about it. So within project communication, we have the communication strategy and plan, stakeholder management for communication, active listening, governance and project structures for formal communication, the use of the big room or OBEA, commitment-based management, project management, information systems, and evidence-based communication, which is the Compass tool from CII. Within interface management, it talks about how you apply interface management within the construction projects, the attributes of good management, understanding the tools and processes, and design and management of interface systems, and how to effectively manage these, as well as capabilities needed for good interface management. In terms of scope and change order, is setting up the project with a clear scope to ensure that the stakeholders are engaged from early on in the project, scope evaluation tools, scope governance structures, and technology supporting scope management and change orders. In terms of contract and risk, contract and delivery method strategy, risk classification and prioritization, risk management framework and process, risk management tools and techniques, and common causes of claims and how you resolve claims and disputes. In terms of the advanced courses, these are the 3 additional courses beyond the PMI-CP that you'll get the PMI-SCP, and these are construction, performance and materials management, technology and innovation, and execution planning. In terms of performance and materials management, it talks about fostering the right culture, progress measurement process, materials management life cycle, the strategy and plan, technology and management best practices. In terms of technology and innovation, what it is, why it matters, and where to be introduced in the project, emergent trends and transformative potential of technology, managing technology risks, on how to bring technology into projects and when best to do it. In terms of execution planning, this is a lot of advanced work packaging, implementation, the best practices and tools, benefits and outcomes, and lean systems. Here's where I will break here and encourage you to ask any questions. We have the QR code to join the PMI Construction Professional LinkedIn group. If you're not a member yet, please scan the QR code with your phone and join the community, and you can continue to ask any questions that you have there. So here's where I'll take a break and see what questions you have, and hopefully we'll be able to answer those. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ricardo. Thank you. So please, if you have any question as regards Ricardo's presentation on what PMI-CP is all about and the benefits, please, you can unmute or you can drop your question in the chat box. Okay, I can see a question from Neka. The QR code. Ricardo, can you share back and let the QR code be on the screen so that those that want to scan can do so? Then if you're interested in the exam, some links have been shared in the chat box. You can fill the form. All these information and how to join the WhatsApp group will be shared with you directly. So that's the alternative way of getting the information. You can fill the form and we'll communicate with you after the session today. Or if you have any other question, please, you can unmute or you can indicate by raising up your hand or use
Good
any of the
evening.
emoji. Oh, okay. Excellent. Evening, Inika. Go ahead, please.
My name is Neka. I'm calling in from Abuja. So I have a question. This seemed like a very timely webinar for me because I'm transitioning. I have an engineering background, but I've always had love for construction. So in my head now, I have a little experience in construction. I did a little bit of construction work before going into banking. So in my head, I'm trying to find how to understand how the PMI-CP would help me to transition fully back into construction. I'm a certified project manager already, so I have my PMP. But I was always looking for something with the construction angle because it brings more credibility to what you have because of the industry. So how is this going to help me transition back into construction fully? Thank you.
Okay. Ricardo, do you want to go for this or we take another question?
No, sure. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Neka. It's an interesting question and an interesting dilemma that you have, which is great. You have a background both in construction and in banking, so you have a finance background as well, and which makes it even more interesting. So one of the sort of areas that I focused on previously is PPPs, where the public-private partnerships, which is a new model that a lot of the infrastructure projects are using with government and private sector coming together as an interesting model for financing infrastructure. I could see this is an area that you could possibly really use your experience both in construction and in finance to be able to get involved in something like that. I know that there are organizations in Africa through the African Development Bank as well. There's a facility for PPPs, and there's a lot of talk in Nigeria as well for PPP projects. So that is probably an area that you should be investigating to see where there might be opportunities. But I think you should lean into your finance background as well as your engineering background and use it as how can we find interesting models for financing of construction projects. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. just to add to this, one of the reasons why we put up this workshop or this conversation is also to let everybody know that something big is coming up in conjunction with PMI team here in Nigeria and Sub-Saharan Africa, because one of the focus is going to be to drive a lot of inclusion for professionals in Nigeria, right? So you might want to fill the form in order for you to be able to get more information after the workshop. Part of the benefit you're going to get by the time you come in for the training is for you to see how you can actually transition. For some of us that would also require internship, some of us that will also require having some exposure to the relatable experiences, you know. So these are part of things that we're going to be having the conversation around. So please make sure you fill the form so that you can get the full details of how this is going to pan out. Okay, I think I can see Emeka Nachuku here. Emeka, thanks for joining. I will introduce you very soon. Do you have any other question? If you have question, please. There are so many professionals here. I've been seeing several names. Please, the architects, the engineers, the quantity surveyors, the geotechnologists. If you have question around this certification program, and you want to inquire more about the benefit, please, we have the team here to handle all your questions. Feel free to share. And if you're in an environment where you can't unmute to speak because of your the sound in your background, you can drop the question in the chat box. I'll pick it up. Any other question? Okay, yeah, Joseph, please kindly unmute. Yeah,
good
can hear
evening.
you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening from wherever you are. Actually, mine is not a question. I'm just trying to emphasize and appreciate what PMI have done with this PMI-CP. I've done my 4 modules, and I'm just getting ready, hopefully by next month, to write at least to attempt my PMI-CP, and I am hopeful that I will achieve it at the first attempt. So from my understanding and from the study, I actually encourage every professional to be a part of it. Being architect, builders, those in the built environment is one window that I think will help us. You know, we have our background, we've studied a lot, but this is just an eye-opener. And this is a study that will help us more like, it's just like an envelope. But all we have studied are embedded within these focuses. And I think if we all attempt it, it will really help us a lot. So I just want to contribute, not really to ask the question. I'm already on course, and I hope to achieve it as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Joseph. I think we're in the same boat. I've finished all of my modules and waiting to write the exam myself.
Yes.
So
Okay, that's good.
I could understand where you are.
Good. Thank you for the testimonial, Joseph. Okay, I can see Remy and Damola's hand up. Let me take Remy first. Remy, please go ahead, and after you, Damola.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for this wonderful workshop. Mike is just concerning the form for joining in the training or the registration with the PMI-CP examination. It requires access, and without the access, we won't be able to fill the form. So I don't know if the form can be revisited so that it won't require access to fill it. As it is right now, it requires an access.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. I will work on it and get back to you shortly. Thank you. Damola, over to you.
All right, thank you. And thank you for the opportunity, Bolan. Mine is 2 prongs. I think finally PMI is beginning to, I think they've heard the cry of everyone, and they've brought in construction sector into that global, certification stuff. So mine is how have they integrated with the construction bodies in terms of recognizing the certification? So, before now, when you look at the PMP, yes, a lot of people have PMP, but now that this one is strictly construction, certification related. What has the PMI done to engage with the governing bodies, the builders, the different sector architects to recognize this certification? There was a question earlier from, I think, Emeka on how that's, but I think the answer for me was not really, it didn't really hit the target. So what has PMI done? Are there collaborations already? Have there been memorandum of understanding signed to make sure that once construction sector, construction industries, companies, architects see individuals with this certification, they are given more, I'll say, opportunities, So that's my question.
You said it was twofold. You want to get the second part in first?
Yeah, this first one was what I said, that finally PMI is bringing in, or has brought in the construction people. I have a civil engineering first degree, and I know that for some time, when you go for PMI event, it looked like it was tilted towards like the IT and, like one side. But now there's a certification that speaks to construction practice, practice professional.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Damola. And I will call my colleague Emeka in a little later to tell you about what we're doing in Nigeria. But I want to acknowledge and support what you're saying, that PMI has heard the cry from our members in terms of making sure that we have something specific for the construction industry. And I like to say the PMP, though it's not a requirement for the PMI-CP, but it certainly gives you that foundation on which to build and be a real specialist in terms of construction project manager. So the PMI-CP is a general project management certification. It's sector agnostic, whereas the PMI-CP is just specifically for the construction sector. And I believe that I've heard that PMI started, as a matter of fact, one of the original founders of PMI had been from the construction sector. So we started out in construction and we lost our way, basically. So this is a great way of coming back into the sector. And you will be pleased to know that, beginning now and what we're attempting to do is engaging with the chapters as well to make sure that not only are we sort of making sure that the credential is there, but making sure as well as they're programming in the chapter for the construction industry. We know that about 8 to 30% of the membership of the chapter belongs to the construction industry. And therefore, we should see at least once a year or once in the programming for the year, you must have specific content for construction. So we're working with the chapters to make sure that we have that programming to support the industry as well. I mentioned what we're doing in South Africa, and there are many other countries that we're working with, the regulatory agencies, the Architects Association, behind the scenes to make sure that we're getting the level of recognition and adoption that you mentioned. But I wanted Emeka to jump in because we just signed an MOU in Nigeria with one of the states. So Emeka, thank you very much for joining, and happy for you to contribute.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. And good afternoon, everyone. Also, kudos to Dr. Bolahon, for actually setting this up. It really means a lot, and this is actually one of the initiatives that are actually ongoing to show you that we are really keen on ensuring that everyone here in Nigeria, especially those in the construction field, really take advantage of the construction certification. Damola, thanks for your question. I'm happy Ricardo has actually pointed out one or two things concerning what we've been doing to ensure more visibility regarding our certification. And it would be great for you to know that we signed recently with the Lagos State government an MOU to actually embed most of our certifications across all cadres within the Lagos State government, which also include the construction professionals. And the CP, it's something that was presented to the state government, which it's something they discovered that is of high value and very necessary for them to get most of their construction professionals actually certified in line with the PMI certifications. Aside that, myself and Dr. Bolahon, we've started discussion. We're working towards the Architect Registration Council of Nigeria. I've also started discussion with the National Society of Engineers. There are many other associations that we're actually discussing. Even last year, we started discussion with the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. We're still working towards getting an MOU signed to ensure that we get construction certification embedded in the ministry. So there are actually background discussions and engagement ongoing, which I'm hopeful that by 2025, you will see more visibility and traction in that regard. So however, if you feel you have any other connection and other associations or government agencies you would like us to reach out to, please feel free to reach out to me. But just to assure you that we are taking up this initiative to ensure that we drive this certification to get more visibility within the country. Thank you. Thanks, Ricardo. Over to you.
Thank you, Ricardo and Emeka. So just to buttress this, another important thing that we should take away from this workshop has to do with collaboration. As Emeka said, we are all positioned in different professional bodies. Some of us here, I want to believe, are even holding critical positions at the level of the states chapters or at the National Executive Council of professional bodies. We can leverage on this collaboration for us to bring in the solution in breaking into the different professional bodies. We all know what's happening and the level of bureaucratic processes that we're trying to deal with here. So please, let's collaborate, let's network as we're doing right now with BCPG. You can be rest assured that BCPG is going to lead the vanguard here. We're hoping with our cell, we're going to be having a keen collaboration with PMI to ensure that we upskill all our members, and we will do this even up to the national level by God's grace. So please, let's collaborate and let the conversation not end here. We can still network after the workshop today for us to be able to see how we can take the conversation forward. Thank you. Any other question? Anyone? Any other question? And let me also remind us that we can claim, for those of us that already attained any of the certifications, we can claim we can claim PDUs from this meeting. I will drop my contacts in the chat box. You can reach out to me on how you can go about this. So you can claim PDUs for your PMP certification towards your renewal. Or any
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes,
Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
We can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
My opinion is this. We are looking at stakeholders' collaboration and engagement with all the young kids professionals in Lagos State, looking at NIOB, NSC, NIQS, NITP, and the rest, that there should be a meeting between the chairman and the secretary of all these key professionals in the built environment, so that they will now regulate it to all their members when they are having a meeting. That's just my submission. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this suggestion. It's well noted, and we'll have. Yeah, please go ahead.
To that? Yes. Okay.
Please.
Just for awareness, we are. Doctor, I'm happy that you actually mentioned that it would be nice for people within this platform to connect. Let's see how we could actually drive this initiative. But we also have a plan first quarter of next year to bring in most of the leads and top directors of this association. We're going to be having a roundtable meeting sometime between January and March 2025 to discuss this too, based on the last feedback that we got now. But as soon as the date is scheduled, we would let everyone here know. And if there are connections and top leads from various associations and government agencies you want us to bring on that, in that meeting room, please feel free to reach out to the doctor, and we can see how we could get those associations and organizations on board. Thanks. Right.
Okay. Any other question? Yes, Ineka, I can see. I'm trying to resolve it. I will surely do that before we close so that we can all feel. So please, if you have any other question around this, let's not forget our target is ensuring best practices in the built industry so that we can prevent the incident of building collapse. This year, so far, 37 buildings had collapsed and had led to catastrophic incidents. So this can be prevented, this can be avoided in 2025. And our focus is zero collapse. That's going to be our focus in 2025. And we can do that when we all upskill. So if you have any question, for some of us who are already on the journey, if you have any challenge, you can bring it up here because we have the subject matter expert here who can address all your questions. If you have any technical issues about your application or any challenges interacting and relating with PMI, we have the staff here to address all these issues. Yes, Damola, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Thank you once again for the opportunity. Yeah, I think I want to mention or just suggest as well why we understand that building collapse was on the imminent rise last year. I don't know what's the plan because some of the buildings collapsing are old buildings. They are not necessarily new builds. You know, of course, in Lagos State, for instance, where I'm familiar with, I know they have a lot of building control agencies. You know, they come to your site, they look at your drawings, they assess, they come stage to stage at every decking and all that. But if we want to, as a body, if we actually want to reduce building collapse, I think a focus should also go to existing buildings. If you're familiar with Lagos well, like all those Yaba, you know, all those old areas in terms of buildings that have maybe close to 100 years. So when those buildings collapse, even though we're going to count them as a building collapse, it's not necessarily because it was built recently by quacks or people that infiltrated the profession. So I don't know if that is already part of your, you know, purview, but I just wanted to mention it that building collapse, yes, it was on the increase, but a large percentage of those buildings that collapsed were old buildings that they failed structural integrity. You know, they began to, so they are not necessarily new builds, you know. So what will the organization do to also tackle those kind of menace? Will they be going around doing inspections and, you know, crossing out buildings that they can see that their structural integrity is already failing? Or we'll just allow those ones to collapse and focus mainly on the new ones that we are, you know, starting off from scratch?
Okay. I'm looking at whether I have the national president here. Okay, I can't see him in the chat box, but sorry, in the participant room, but let me just go ahead and answer this. So yes, at the level of BCPG, there's an ongoing stakeholder engagement. And by the way, our focus, like I mentioned, in terms of our vision, our aims and objectives, is to prevent. So as you have mentioned, part of the strategy in preventing is to, first of all, audit existing buildings. There are buildings that their shelf lives have actually expired and they are still breathing, right? So what exactly are the professionals at the professional body level doing? And of course, within the private and public sector, what activities are they doing? So currently, BCPG is actually leading that conversation, okay, which is data driven. And that's why I could easily come here and give you the statistics of, oh, these are the things that are done, is to tell you that we're working in profiling buildings. We are working in driving data to get information about buildings that their life cycle assessment has actually expired. Last month, because this conversation is what we have every month at the level of ourselves. So last month, one of the things that we discussed about has to do with the use of technology, how we can use technology to drive collection of data, to do building assessments, of course, of post-occupancy evaluation of buildings. So this is an ongoing engagement. This is an ongoing exercise of which requires collaboration across board, right? PBG is envisaging how this can be effectively implemented and executed, but we need the collaboration of every professional in the industry, you know, either within their professional bodies where they pledge allegiance or as an individual, right? All of us in the guild are volunteers. and we all also belong to a particular professional bodies. And that's why I'm encouraging that everyone here today, having heard about this, can also decide at the different locations where you are practicing. You can join the guild. You can pioneer the works of the guild in order to be able to ensure that some of the things that are lacking within our professional bodies, the guild provide the opportunity for us to push for them, right? So it's an ongoing effort, and I'm sure that in the near future, we're going to see how this will actually not just only become a policy, but fully integrated into our national building code. Because some of these things are what is missing within our national building code. I hope that's clear, Damola.
Yes, please. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Engineer Idris, I see you're muted. I'm going to post the updated link now. Yes, I'm sending the updated link now. And again, for some of us here who wants to get more information about PMI-CP, please, you can go to pmi.org website. I'm typing it in the chat box now. You can go to that website, and you can also follow Ricardo on LinkedIn. I see he posted his LinkedIn. Ricardo, you can repost your LinkedIn URL so that everyone can follow you. But we can check on pmi.org. Emeka, you can also share your URL for your LinkedIn page.
Yeah, the link I shared was for the construction group, as the
okay,
the QR code was not being allowed, but I can share my profile.
Okay. So please, let's try to network. Is very, very important. Is one of the benefits of being in this group and being in this space today, so that we'll see how to leverage on opportunities that PMI is offering. And because of those that are here, please make sure you fill the form. I'm going to be sharing a link with us on a free course that PMI is offering. PMI kickoff course for those of us that have not taken any of the credentials or any of the certification exam with PMI. You can start up with the free kickoff course. So I'll share the details with us as long as you drop your information in the registration link I'm sharing now. I have to create a new one since we're having issues with the previous one. Okay, so let me know if you can use this now. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. Okay. So BCPG is located in different part of the country: Abuja, Benin, Ibadan, Port Harcourt. So if you want to join the guild, please just check on the website under membership. You can fill the form. We'll reach out to you. So please kindly check this. I just shared another link now. If not, I'll just send an email that we can all send a message to. That means Mr. Murphy decided to show up.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So please, you can use that link. Then I'm sharing for further correspondence. You can also send a mail via this emails. And rest assured that you get a response. Any other question? Any other comments? Any other question, comments? Okay, thank you so much, Emeka. Thank you. Thank you. In closing, since there is no other question, so that I don't keep us waiting here. In closing, as we are all preparing for the new year, I know it's a time of the year. I mean, this period is a time where we'll all have reflection on how we fared this year in our different professional practices. One of the things that you should think about is how are you going to do things differently next year to amplify project success? Okay, you need to think about that. What are you going to do differently? What areas of opportunities are you going to leverage on in order for you to be able to amplify the chances of pushing project success across board? What we discuss about PMI-CP is a simple opportunity for us to achieve that. When you get certified with PMP-CP, you can be rest assured that it's going to position you, right? For some of us who are already PMP certified, you can attest to the fact that the knowledge of PMP is, I mean, it's a great leverage for us in the industry where we practice. So imagine when you have PMI-CP. So please take advantage of this. A lot of packages Emeka has dropped in, maybe would have mentioned to us there are quite a number of opportunities and packages that PMI is going to extend to us because of how we want to drive the number in expanding. And Nigeria has to be the lead in Africa in this regard. Nigeria, that's the mandate. Nigeria would have the highest number of CPA certified professionals in Africa. So we've done it before and we can do it over and over again, right? So guys, let's get back to our professional bodies and let's start making conversation around this. Okay, I can see Danjuma's hand up. Please, let me quickly take you as we round up. Danjuma, please go ahead. Builder Danjuma.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I count it as a privilege to be here in the midst of professionals. And please, I'm someone that really wants to be satisfied under PMI, and I've been making some inquiry on which institute actually should I supposed to enroll in order to be satisfied and the one that can be recognized even within my country and also internationally. So I count this opportunity as a privilege to be on this training or workshop under PMI. So I don't know if there is a guideline or we can get in touch with someone that can put us through on all the process that we need to follow before we can be satisfied after this program. That's my question.
Okay, thank you, Danjuma. Kindly drop your contact in the chat box, your email, your phone number, and your name. I will reach out to you. Also, you can fill the form that I shared for the PMI-CP certification. So you can fill the form. We'll reach out to you and give you all the necessary information you require and connect you to how you can navigate through and also help you to ensure you get certified. That's the goal. Okay, I think we're done. So it's a good time to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. Ricardo, once again, thank you so much, even despite the short notice, for honoring our invitation. And also I want to appreciate Emeka too for showing up. Thanks for your support. You can see that Nigeria is actually ready to take this to the next level, as we know they carry last, right? So please, all the information you may require, you can reach out to me. You can follow me on LinkedIn. You can send an email to us. Be rest assured that we'll reach out to you. And of course, make sure you decide to join the guild. There's so much that we can do together. Thank you. That reminds me, before you go, please, let me drop this link. We also have a house on Clubhouse. I don't know how many of us are on Clubhouse. There is a fortnight conversation. There's a convo we're going to commence in January on Clubhouse. And these are part of the issues that we're going to be addressing. We're going to be having intensive conversation, frontline conversation to address critical issues. So make sure you join us to have that conversation on Clubhouse. I will share the link now. Thank you, Builder Fumi, for sharing this. I will share the link for the Clubhouse now. Make sure you join us and follow us on the Clubhouse so that you can get full details of the information. Just a minute, and after then we can all exit. And please, if you have any feedback you want to share with us, please feel free to send us an email. We'd like to hear from you and know how to better serve us with necessary information to position the industry for greater results. Okay, I'm pulling out the link now. Let me know if you can see the link. Can we all see the link in the chat box for the Clubhouse? Please just click on it, download the app, and then you follow us. Oh, okay. Let me repost the link for the form as well. Please make sure you fill the form so that we can reach out to you and follow up. There's a link for the form and then the Clubhouse, and then we continue the conversation. Thank you so much, everyone. Do enjoy the rest of the week and, of course, the holiday.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Doctor.
Thank you. Danjuma,
Dr.
you are raising
Bola,
up your hand.
No.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I'm about to ask him. Danjuma, you can unmute. I can see your hand up again. Hello, Buda Danjuma. Oh, okay. He has exited. I guess maybe it's still.
Maybe it's still the first one.
Yes, I guess as much. So everyone, thank you so much for joining in. We'll catch up again next year, January.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you so
for the
much.
good presentation.
Good presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you coming.
Look forward to see everyone in PMI.
Thank you.